Back, fellow movie enthusiasts, to another installment of Real Talk. I am your host, Josh Bell, and today we are embarking on a journey through the annals of 80s cinema where laughter, drama, and a touch of nostalgia collide. In our ongoing series, we're shining a spotlight on the films from yesteryear that once captured our imaginations, but may now reveal a darker side. Today's focus: The Toy. A comedic romp that once had us doubled over with laughter, but as we dust off the VHS tapes and revisit the classics, we're peeling back the layers to uncover the truths hidden beneath the surface. From quirky characters to whimsical plot twists, The Toy invites us to explore themes of friendship, identity, and societal norms. But as we dive deeper into the celluloid landscape, we'll confront uncomfortable truths and ask the tough questions. Does the toy still hold up in today's world of shifting perspectives and evolving sensibilities? And what can its portrayal of race, class, and privilege teach us about our own cultural movement? So grab your popcorn, settle into your favorite armchair, and prepare for our cinematic odyssey unlike any other. Real Talk is about to take you on a roller coaster ride through the highs and lows of 80s nostalgia. Strap in, dear listener, for a thought-provoking journey through the real world of the toy. As always, we're going to start with our dive into the plot of The Toy. So picture this. The film takes us on a wild ride through the eccentric world of Louisiana's wealthy. We meet Jack Brown, a struggling journalist, portrayed by the comedic genius Richard Pryor. Jack finds himself in a precarious situation when he's hired as a playmate for the son of a wealthy businessman, U.S. Bates, portrayed by the legendary Jackie Gleason. Now, let's talk about the dynamics at play here. Jack becomes a literal toy for Bates' son, Eric, in a bizarre arrangement that blurs the line between friendship and servitude. As Jack navigates this surreal landscape, we witness a series of comedic misadventures and heartwarming moments that challenge this sense of self-worth and dignity. But here's where things take a turn. Instead of empowering Jack, the film leans into the uncomfortable stereotypes and power imbalances. We see Jack subjected to humiliating tasks and treated as little more than a plaything for the amusement of the wealthy elite. It's a troubling depiction that raises questions about consent, agency, and the nature of human relationships. As the plot unfolds, Jack forms an unlikely bond with Eric, transcending the barriers of class and privilege. Through their friendship, Jack learns a valuable lesson about empathy, understanding, and the true meaning of companionship. But beneath the surface, there's a darker undercurrent, a reflection of the inherent inequalities that pervade our society. Now, as the film reaches its climax, Jack confronts Bates and his cronies, challenging the status quo and reclaiming his dignity in the triumphant display of courage and resilience. It's a moment of redemption that offers a glimmer of hope in an otherwise tumultuous world. But as we reflect on the journey of the toy, we're left with lingering questions. Does the film truly challenge the power dynamics at play, or does it ultimately reinforce them? And what does its portrayal of race, class, and privilege say about the society in which it was created? In the end, The Toy serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities of human relationships and the inherent inequalities that shape our world. It's a comedy with a message, one that invites us to look beyond the laughter and confront the uncomfortable truth that lies beneath the surface. When we come back, we'll take a look at the soundtrack. Right, now the soundtrack here is often overlooked. While the film may not be renowned for its musical numbers, it does offer some noteworthy compositions that enhance the viewing experience. Have you ever noticed how the music in a movie can completely change the way you experience a scene? Well, first and foremost, we must acknowledge the work of the composer Patrick Williams. His score provides the backdrop for the film's comedic escapades and heartfelt moments. Williams' music sets the tone for the various scenes, and it captures some of the whimsy and lightheartedness in the story. One of the standout tracks from the soundtrack is the main theme, featuring a lively melody that perfectly reflects the playful spirit we're supposed to go into this movie with. The upbeat tempo and catchy motifs serve to underscore the comedic moments and inject a sense of energy into its narrative. But it's not just the original score of the film. The film also features a selection of songs that were popular in the 80s era. While these train tracks might not be as memorable as those from other films of the time, they contribute to the overall ambience and atmosphere of the movie. For example, some of the contemporary hits, from catchy pop tunes to infectious rhythms, the music reflects a cultural landscape of the early 80s and adds a little bit of nostalgia. However, while the soundtrack may enhance certain moments of the film, it also ultimately takes a back seat to the performances and its storyline. Unlike other movies where music plays a more prominent role, The Toy relies more heavily on its comedic timing and character dynamics to drive the narrative forward. Now, while the soundtrack is not very memorable, it is a part of the viewing experience. Again, the original score by Patrick Williams and those deep cut 80s songs that add that depth to the story. Now, when we come back, we'll look at some of the thematic elements of the film. So let's try to uncover some deeper messages that underlie its comedic facade in The Toy. While initially appearing as a lighthearted romp through the world of wealth and privilege, a closer examination reveals layers of complexity and social commentary that provoke meaningful discussions. One of the central themes is the exploration of class and privilege. Through the contrasting lives of the wealthy elite and those who serve them, the film sheds light on the inherent inequalities within society. Jack Brown's character embodies the struggle of an ordinary man thrust into the world of the privileged, where money and status dictate one's worth. The dynamics between Jack and U.S. Bates, the wealthy businessman who employs him, highlight the power imbalances prevalent in the relationship. Jack becomes a commodity, bought and sold at the whims of the wealthy elite. The exploration of class disparity forces viewers to confront uncomfortable truths about social stratification and the exploitation of labor. Additionally, the toy goes into themes of friendship and human connection. Despite those barriers of class and privilege, Jack does form a genuine bond with Eric. It transcends their respective social position, and their friendship serves as a beacon of hope in a world complete with division, emphasizing the transformative power of empathy and understanding. The film also dives into some themes of identity and self-worth. Jack's journey from a struggling journalist to a plaything for the wealthy prompts him to confront his own sense of dignity and autonomy. Through the interactions with Eric and others, Jack learns valuable lessons about resilience, courage, and the true meaning of self-worth. However, as we'll get to a little bit later, it's important to acknowledge the problematic aspects of the film's portrayal of race and privilege. Jack, a black man being treated as a literal toy for the amusement of a wealthy white family, raises some uncomfortable questions about racial dynamics and power structures. While the film attempts to address these issues, it falls short in its execution, perpetuating harmful stereotypes and reinforcing existing power imbalances. So, the toy, while it invites viewers to reflect on a myriad of themes from class and privilege, it doesn't always offer those easy answers, and it challenges to confront the complexities of the human experience. As we review the toy through a more critical lens, we are called to really engage in a more meaningful dialogue and strive for a future where individuals are treated with dignity and respect, regardless of any of their social or racial backgrounds or status. Now, when we come back, we'll take a look at the cast and crew, which is maybe the highlight of this film. A quick look at the cast and crew of The Toy. We begin with the incomparable, hilarious Richard Pryor, who leads the cast with his signature charm and comedic timing. As Jack Brown, Pryor brings depth and humanity to the role of a struggling journalist thrust into the world of the wealthy elite. His ability to blend humor with heartfelt moments adds layers to the character and elevates the film beyond mere slapstick comedy. Opposite Pryor is the legendary Jackie Gleason, whose portrayal of U.S. Bates, the wealthy businessman with a penchant for extravagant toys, is both menacing and somehow humorous. Gleason's larger-than-life presence commands the screen, serving as the perfect foil to Pryor's understated charm. Together, Pryor and Gleason form a dynamic duo that keeps viewers entertained to some degree from start to finish. Rounding out the cast, there are supporting players like Ned Beatty, who delivers a memorable performance as the bumbling lawyer, attempting to navigate the complexities of the Bates world. Beatty's comedic timing and physicality add depth to his character, providing moments of levity amidst the chaos. And behind the camera, we have the director, Richard Donner, who's a few years removed from Superman, and he's going to be doing films like The Goonies and Lethal Weapon in the future. He has a keen eye for comedy and storytelling. His ability to balance humor with heart allows the film to kind of go beyond its premise and resonate with some audiences on a deeper level. His direction keeps the pacing brisk and the energy high, ensuring that the viewers remain engaged from start to finish. I mean, it's not a hard movie to watch, and that's thanks to Richard Donner. In addition to the cast and crew, or the cast and the director, we have to acknowledge the contributions of the crew. The writers, producers, the production team who worked tirelessly to bring the film to life. From crafting the script, orchestrating elaborate set pieces, each member of the crew played a crucial role in the shaping of the final product. It's also worth noting that the film's production design and cinematography, which captured the opulence, the extravagance of the Bates' world with meticulous detail. They do a really good job. The sprawling mansion, the elaborate toy store, every piece feels like a character itself, adding depth and dimension to the film. Like I said, Toy boasts a talented cast and crew who brought their A-game to the production, from Pryor and Gleason's unforgettable performance, Donner's masterful direction. It's amazing that this movie can actually be watchable, even with the issues that we'll actually start talking about when we come back. Okay, now's where we're going to talk about some of the problems by today's standards in this film. Despite its popularity and comedic appeal in the 80s, this would be a rough film with the challenges brought by today's cultural landscape. First and foremost, the film centers around a premise where a wealthy white man hires a black man as a literal plaything for his son. The concept, rooted in power imbalances and racial stereotypes, raises serious concerns about consent, agency, and the perpetuation of harmful stereotypes. In today's conversation around racial equality and social justice, such dynamics would undoubtedly spark controversy and extreme backlash. Further, the film relies heavily on the humor derived from the exploitation and objectification of its protagonist, Jack Brown. His portrayal as subordinate to the wealthy white family not only reinforces harmful power dynamics, but also trivializes issues of race and class. While such comedic treatment may have been acceptable in the 80s, today's audiences are more attuned to representation and diversity and are less likely to tolerate humor that comes at the expense of a marginalized community. The toy handles sensitive topics like consent and autonomy in a problematic manner. Jack's lack of agency and the casual manner in which his character is treated as a commodity perpetuates harmful stereotypes about the race, class, and power. In an era where issues of consent and bodily autonomy are at the forefront of our everyday lives, the film's insensitive portrayal of these themes would undoubtedly be met with much controversy. Then there's the film's treatment of gender roles and relationships reinforce traditional stereotypes, with the female characters often relegated to passive roles. This lack of nuanced portrayal further underscores the film's inability to resonate with a contemporary audience. The humor in the toy may also be perceived as insensitive or offensive by today's standards, relying on outdated stereotypes and punchlines that would be deemed just absolutely inappropriate today. What may have been acceptable as comedy in the 80s may now be viewed as tone deaf, reflecting a shift in societal attitudes towards humor and representation. So while the toy may hold nostalgic value for some, its problematic themes and outdated humor make it unlikely that the film could be made today without significant changes. As our understanding of representation and diversity continues to evolve, so too must our approach to storytelling. So it's absolutely essential to critically engage with older films and acknowledge their complexities within contemporary context and open up that dialogue, have the conversation about what it is that we view as wrong or needing to be changed. Now, when we get back, we'll lighten things up with a little bit of trivia. All right, we're back, so let's take a look at some of the trivia that we found about the toy. First, did you know that the toy is actually a remake of a French comedy called La Jouet, which just means the toy, directed by Francis Weber? The original film was released in 1976 and follows a similar premise of a wealthy man hiring a man from a lower social class as a plaything for his son. The success of La Jouet inspired the American adaptation, with Richard Pryor and Jackie Gleason taking over those lead roles. Another tidbit is that Richard Pryor actually had significant creative input in the film's development. Pryor, known for his improv skills and comedic genius, reportedly ad-libbed many of his lines and contributed to the overall tone and direction of the film. His unique brand of humor and wit added much depth and authenticity to the character of Jack Brown. And one of the more memorable scenes in the toy involves a grand carousel ride that takes place in the toy store where Jack works. This elaborate set piece required meticulous planning and coordination, as well as the construction of a custom carousel specifically for the film. The scene serves as a visual spectacle and a metaphor for the dizzying heights of wealth and privilege that Jack finds himself entangled in. Another interesting aspect of the film is its reception upon release. The toy performed moderately well at the box office and garnered some positive reviews, but it also did face criticism in its time for its portrayal of race and class dynamics. Some viewers and critics felt that the film trivialized serious issues and perpetuated harmful stereotypes, particularly in its depiction of the relationship between Jack and the wealthy Bates family. Now, the toy, not only a comedic romp, but it has a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that give us a deeper understanding and appreciation for the film. With that, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will quick summary of our episode and provide our rating. So to wrap it all up, the toy offers an intriguing exploration of class dynamics and human relationships, but its problematic portrayal of race and consent makes it a challenging watch by today's standards. While the film boasts memorable performances from Richard Pryor and Jackie Gleason, even Ned Beatty, as well as some impressive set pieces, its reliance on outdated humor and stereotypes detracts from its overall impact. As we've discussed, the film raises important questions about power dynamics and social privilege, but its execution continually falls short in addressing these issues in a meaningful way. The film's treatment of race and consent is particularly troubling, reflecting the limitations of its time and the need for more nuanced and inclusive storytelling. With all of that, I give the toy a critical rating of 5 out of 10. While we acknowledge the entertainment value and cultural significance, I just can't ignore the problematic aspects of its portrayal and themes. It's important to approach this film with a critical eye and an understanding of its historical context, while also recognizing the need for greater sensitivity and awareness in our media and entertainment. It's worth noting that while we have enjoyed certain aspects of the toy, in no way do I condone the acts portrayed in the movie. It's essential to separate entertainment from reality and to challenge harmful stereotypes and narratives wherever they may appear. As we continue our exploration of 80s cinema in our series, we look forward to engaging with films that spark meaningful discussions and maybe challenge our perceptions of the world around us. thank you for joining us on this journey, and we invite you to share your thoughts and feedback with us as we continue to explore the history of cinema together. Before we wrap up, I just want to remind you that your feedback and thoughts are invaluable to me. You can reach me at any time at therealrealtalk@gmail.com. Additionally, you can feel free to connect with me on Instagram and Threads at @realrealtalk. Your engagement helps shape the future of the podcast, and I look forward to hearing from you. Next time, we'll be diving into the nerd revolution with Revenge of the Nerds. So join us as we explore another 80s gem and continue our series on movies from the past that offer insights into the present. Until then, keep loving, keep watching, and keep those reels rolling.